What's going on, everyone? Gilman with Wellthy Stocks, back with our daily Apple update video where we take a look at how Apple stock traded today, key support and resistance levels that we are looking at moving into the future, and based on that, what we think Apple stock could do. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Apple are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. So let me hit record and we will get right into it. What an absolutely crazy day. You guys remember yesterday, we were talking about the crazy pullback that we had yesterday. All the indexes were red, and then we talked about, hey, do we see a little bit of a continuation of that, or do we see it start to turn around? And for a little bit there, right, it did look kind of weak at the beginning, but then we started to see a little bit of a turnaround, and we were looking good. We were looking decently green on the day, and then look at what happened here in the last couple minutes of the market. We pretty much gave up all the gains. We are barely green for the day. So let's take a look at how Apple traded. I want to talk about the S&P 500 since I think that, the overall, market is being a little weird right now. So we'll take a look at that, and then we'll take a look at Apple's future support and resistance levels. Remember that this week has been, kind of rough overall for the markets. A lot of ups and downs, mostly downs. Other than Wednesday, we had kind of a green day then, but other than that, it's been a red week for most of the indexes, other than the Dow, because the Dow is just doing Dow things. But so if you're not doing too well this week, I want to say neither am I, and that's okay. There's going to be good weeks. There's going to be not good weeks. So just keep that in mind. Head up, and we'll take it on next week. Okay, so let me just go to the one-day chart here for us, and we'll see what we see. So let's take a look here. Yesterday, right, talked about, went from 126s to the low 120s, closed really weak, and then today we were dropping for a little bit, and then we started to look strong. And let me get my drawings back on, and look at this, right? Perfect. We went up, got rejected by our level, came down, bounced, VWAP touch, bounce, rejected, came back, and then pushed up. And then for a little bit, we were, bouncing off of our 123.69 level that we were, below for a little bit. And then we broke below it, bounced off VWAP, came right back above, broke below, and then we were right below VWAP, and then we came up, bounced, pushed up, and I thought it was going to be a strong close, right? Look, we're above VWAP, we're above our 123.69 level. That sets us up really nicely. And then in the last 10 minutes of the market, we went from the 124s right against this 121 mark. So not really too great, but I mean, it was a index wide, it was a market wide kind of sell off, right? You take a look at pretty much any major stock. We saw a similar sell-off, but in Apple's case, we ended at the end of the day 27 cents up. We're up right now, but this is changing so fast. I don't know what's happening in the after hours, so we're just gonna say 27 cents on the day, 0.22%. Now let's talk a little bit about the S&P 500, and then we'll get to Apple support and resistance. And the reason I want to do that is because I think that the way the market's behaving is just as important as Apple. Look, I could tell you about all the great things Apple is doing or continues to do in monster quarters, but clearly the market does not care about that right now, right? So we have to understand what the market's doing to get an indication of where the stock could be headed. So yesterday we were right here, and I pointed out to you guys, weak or maybe not done being red yet, right? So as you could see, S&P was red again today. It was weird. It went from being red to being green to being back to red at closing. But what I mentioned here is, look, when we bounced back off of here in December and early January, we bounced off of the third line, which is our 34 exponential moving average. But here back in late January, we bounced off the 55, right? So we broke through the 34 and we went to the 55. That's what I said yesterday. And today, right, if you take a look here, we were kind of in between, and we did go perfectly down to that 55 EMA, you guys. So we did, go down there. Thankfully, we bounced and didn't just break through it, similar to how we bounced here. But the question now becomes, what happens next week? Look, here when we bounced off of that, we had a nice green week that took us through We gapped up a little, pushed up, took us through the 34, and we made our way up. And then the next day we were like, you know, doing well again. Do we see that, or do we see a continuation as we've seen, you know, back here in October 2020, right? Similar thing, bounced off, ended the day above the 55. The next day we were kind of, you know, not doing too well, and then we, you know, gapped down big and had a couple red days before coming up. That's what I'm looking at right now, so I figured I'd point it out to you guys. Just because we bounced off of this does not mean we're kind of out of the woods. We could continue to go down to visit that level again. If you had this level yesterday and you were watching the 55 EMA today, you saw the bounce same way I did. I played some SPX calls and puts throughout the day, not too much because I was so uncertain, but you know, take advantage of kind of the movement that the S&P 500 is giving us. But I'm not, you know, entering any really long positions right now until I get a clear indication of where we're headed next. The last positions that I entered were NEO and Palantir a couple days ago, if you guys watched those videos as well. So now let's get back to Apple. Wanted to cover S&P because I think we're at a weird spot right now. And what I want to point out with Apple is a couple things. So this line here, this trend line, is something that I think one of you guys down in the comment section told me to draw, and I did, and did seem to bounce off of it really nicely 3 days ago. But you know, that still gives us a little bit of a run room down. So now let's talk about future levels of support and future levels of resistance. So as you guys saw, we were doing really well. We were at this 124 level, and then right at, you know, for, I don't know why we dropped so much at the end. Maybe there's going to be some news surrounding that, or maybe it was just a sell-off to end the Friday, right? But anyway, from a support level perspective, you know, we are below all of our EMAs really. So I think the first level of support that we have coming up, if, you know, we stay below this 121.40s, is going to be the 120 level, and then we've got the 119.09 level of support, and then 116.99. But I don't personally think we see, you know, the lower. Hopefully we don't get into the 100 and like teens, but then again, you know, the market's been looking really weak, so I'm not, you know, gonna just say that that's not gonna happen. I'd like to point out the ups and the downs to you guys. So first level of support 120, second 119.09, and then 116.99. However, what I'm hoping is that we open above the 121.40s level, so that could be our first level of support as well. On the upside, what we have coming up, you guys, is the 123.69 level. Then we've got the 126.65. And if we get to 126.65, we also take over both the 89 exponential moving average and the 8 exponential moving average. And then hopefully we can establish that as a goal starting up. I'm really, really hoping that next week is the start of a green week for us. Apple finally starts to move up again. We do have this support line coming down here as well. And that trend line, you know, goes kind of back out to, let's see here. So we bounced off of it in, you know, September, we bounced off of it in November, and then we bounced off of it once on 223. So if we go down, hopefully we see a bounce off that 119 level again. But what I'm hoping for next week is we kind of regain some of our footing that we lost just in the last couple of minutes, and we really make a push towards this 126.65, because what that'll do is it'll put us above this 89 exponential moving average, which you've seen in my previous videos, right? I point out that Apple rarely stays below that. We start to, you know, maybe bottom out here a little bit and then start to move up, establish 126 and the 89 EMA as a good level of support, and then we start to push towards 130s. I hope that that happens, but I want to make it very clear that what I'm watching more closely than anything is the S&P 500. The thing that I liked about Apple today is that S&P was red and Apple still ended the day kind of green, right? So Apple's up about 0.25% or so. S&P was down about 0.5% after it gave up a lot of that gain as well. So I'm hoping for an Apple push up, but I am not the YouTube channel that's going to tell you buy Apple now. It can only go up. I know people that were saying that in the mid 120s. I know people that, you know, have been saying that for a while, you know, back here. But if you take a look, right, if you look, I just want to point something out. Apple was at 140s about a month ago, and it's been dropping since. It looks attractive at the 130s level, right? Because you're saying, oh, you know, I'm already so much below the all-time high, let me buy and ride it back up. But as you can see, it clearly continued to fall, right? So what I'm waiting for is a little bit of a clear indication of a turnaround, a confirmation. Get above this 89 exponential moving average. The support lines start to hold. The overall market stops being as weak. And then I'm looking to hop into some, maybe quick, bull puts or, longer term swing trades with Apple. As always, I continue to hold my shares, and I do have a call option that goes out to July. I had mentioned that I might cut that. I have not cut that yet. I'm looking to see how next week goes. If we see continued weakness next week, then I might cut that. But for the time being, I'm holding on to that, hoping for a turnaround. So that's all I had for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to drop a like below, subscribe to my channel if you are new. Hopefully next week we see more weakness. Wow. Hopefully next week we don't see more weakness and we see it start to turn around. We can see some green, not the red I've seen in my portfolios for 4 out of the 5 days this week. So hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to keep an eye out on the S&P 500 to get an indication of where we could be headed next. Like I pointed out yesterday, right? We did have downside and we went to that downside today. So we'll see if there's more downside or not. But yeah, that's all I had for you guys. Hope you guys all have an amazing weekend. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day. And until next time.